G'day guys, welcome back to Beers and Breakevens, heading into round 24. It is heating up. Shout out to all of you that bowed out of your head-to-heads on the weekend. Reality, it comes at you fast. Timbo, how are you, brother?
I'm good, mate. The run home is it's alive and strong. It's exciting times of the season, and as very much an onlooker to the overall title race, there's just no stress. It's enjoyable.
No stress.
Not for me.
Oh, please.
Well, I know I'm going to run you down, so I'm all good.
Catch me if you can, mate. I think I'm out to close to 500 now.
I'm quick. I'm not that quick.
It's going to be a very interesting run home. Catmandu, how are you?
I'm good. I think I can really echo Timmy with the no stress side of things. I'm just cruising my way to the end now. I'm ranked 24,000th, and you know what they say.
If you're not in the top 23,000.
Yeah.
We've been saying it for a long time.
Just cruising through now.
Yeah.
It's great.
I still have my eyes set on spot number 1. I still think I can find a way to do it. So brace yourself for a big run home. Timmy, how'd you score on the weekend, mate?
Not well, Roo. Not well. 11.34. I think I said 11.55 on Playbook last night.
Gave yourself a little bump.
I just thought I'd give myself a 21-point bump. I checked. I think I was 11.55 last week, so I just went back to that. I'm like, no, it was 11.34. So, mate, I dropped another 1,000 to 15K. It's so grim.
Yeah, grim. Now, I had a reasonably good week, 1,279. I went up 568 spots. I have got a confession to make to both of you that I think you'll both find very funny.
Looking forward to it.
And this is me falling on my sword, once again admitting how much of a fucking moron I am at times. Remember how last week I was like, you know that my scores have always fallen between 1,000 this and whatever?
You're looking at your rank.
I was looking at my average.
Oh,
So that's why it was so close. Every
that's
week.
embarrassing.
Yeah, heaps embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
But here I am taking ownership. I could have snuck away with this one, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to bare my soul, my dumbass soul to everyone. So there you go. Not my best work. I scored.
Outstanding.
Yeah, top shelf. I scored 1,279 to give me a rank of 7,139. So I'm at the moment, Timbo, just ranked in the top 4%. We want to get into that top 1 though. That's where I want to finish, which is about 1,700 overall or something like that, along those lines.
Yeah,
That's my
you can still do it. You just need shit dominoes to fall. You need injuries.
Yeah,
So
I need a few key dominoes
How many
to
trades
fall.
left? 2? Sorry. I meant after
2?
this week.
I'm
I
not
was thinking
trading this
after
week, mate. I'm saving up. Going for the juggernaut on the way home. I got 4 left. How many you got left?
I've got 4 leading into this round.
Oh, no, sorry. I've got 5 leading into this round.
Sweet.
Yeah.
4.
Cat, 17?
No, I've got 7, but I've still got 2 boosts, guys.
Still heaps edged. Yeah, you're not going to use those. No way.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Where are you ranked? Oh, you 24?
15.
Okay, sweet.
Do you want to know my score this week?
Yeah, what'd you score?
1,240.
Shit.
Not bad. Could have done
rising.
better.
She beat you?
I only went up
By
by
100.
Right, okay.
I think 1,000 spots, but we're on the move. That's all that matters.
You're going to be a big watch next year after your rookie season.
I think so too.
What do you think have been your biggest lessons that you've taken from this year outside of don't
You
listen
can
to Tim?
almost be too conservative with trades in the sense that there are probably little opportunities I could have jumped on in the latter part of the season that I didn't do because of my conservative nature. In saying that, last week I just went for it. Like I think I messaged you at the very last minute and said, I can't even remember what my trades were. I got Val Holmes and I got, do you remember? Oh, Joe Tarpany. Yeah. Which I rate. I think they were good
Considering
decisions.
you got Simbin, you scored very well, Joe.
Yeah, well, bloody 2 tries here. That'll do it.
Probably Sinbin because
Seriously.
I got him. But anyway, it's a great question and I will come back to you at the end of the season on that one. But my final rank is not final. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
There's a bit of room for movement still. So lessons to be learned, I think.
Plenty of room for movement. Now, shout out to our weekly winner this week, whose name and why on earth would he do this? That might be in another language. I don't know. XQTR. Are they like Greek letters or something, Timbo? Can you see that?
I think it's Elon Musk's son.
I don't know what the fuck that is. But his name is Second Nature. So shout out to Second Nature, who top scored our comp this weekend, 1,519. Mystery name, please send an email to beersandbreakevens@gmail.com.
XQTR.
Yeah, it looks like that that Pokemon that you used to find that was like
Executor.
Oh my God.
Executor, that's what it is. Well done.
I was about to say brilliant from Uru, but you've just been toppled by cat jumping. Executor, obviously.
What was the name of that Pokemon? Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, they're the eggs, weren't they?
No. Oh, no, I know what she's talking about. Remember when you're in the Pokemon game and did either of you play the game?
Yeah, they were the eggs.
No. I'm talking about there was like that cheat code thing and that thing would show up that was like, it wasn't a real Pokemon. It was like a long, people in the comments will know what I'm talking about. It only used to appear occasionally. It had a whacked level and it used to give you like unlimited candy canes or some shit.
I remember there was a cheat code. I was a big Pokemon man back in the day.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to go to a wall and you used to be able to jump on the wall and go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and you'd get unlimited candy canes from the cheat code. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, and I think before you did that up and down, you had to go to this other certain area where this thing was. It was I forget the name of the fucking Pokemon. I'll find it for you after. Were you a Pokemon kid?
I was, but not to this extent.
Not to the games and shit?
She just quoted Executor or whatever his name was.
No, I don't think she meant the Pokemon though. I think she just meant like.
I was just telling you what I think it means.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway.
What was your favourite Pokemon? I had a standout number one that was a bit rogue.
I liked Vulpix, that like flaming dog.
No, that was Vulpix the flame one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it evolved into like Ninetales and it had like all. Yeah, I love the dogs.
I was a big Scyther guy.
Oh yeah, the grass one.
What were you? Pikachu.
No, it started with a bit of. I was a Jigglypuff fan, but I feel like most girls. Okay, first of all, Timmy, don't laugh at me. It started with Jigglypuff, and then I think I like Bulbasaur.
Like
he was a cutie, you know.
Of the big three, I was always a bit of a Bulbasaur fan.
Charmander for sure.
Yeah,
Flames.
of course you were.
Yeah,
you fucking
true.
stock standing cookie cutter. Fucking.
Anyway.
Hate that. Now,
Anyway,
shout
tune
out.
into the late show tonight for more Pokemon chat.
Love that. Shout out to the guy that came third this week. His name was Shelving Pongers, which I thought was sensational. I kind of wish he won. Good times. Executor, send your email to beersandbreakevens@gmail.com. We best get on to something that remotely matters. Team List Tuesday, Thursday, we've got the Penrith Panthers and the Melbourne Storm coming in from out there at Penrith. Guyer and Henry there on the edges. JFH and Dylan Edwards on the extended. Not quite sure what's going to happen there, but I think this game does mean a lot to the Penny Panthers. They'll be looking to get a W here, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dill plays. JFH, I'm probably less confident on. That's just vibe alone.
Just time frames. Time frame suggested Edwards would be back about now, whereas James Fisher-Harris, he was expected to be a little bit longer, I thought. And I listened to the Panthers medical report last week, and they were saying, and they had footage of Edwards moving around at training really well and running around, and saying that they expect him back within 1 to 2 weeks, and that they said he was every chance for this week. So they weren't really trying to hide anything too much. So I expect Dill Edwards back this week.
Yeah. Eli Katoa back for the Melbourne Storm. Unfortunately for me, great for the other 99.9% of you.
I'm not as convinced. I'm looking at sitting.
Love that.
I'm just the matchup against any other team, sure, but like I'm looking at potentially sitting him this week. Like we're at the point of the season where squads are pretty deep. The Broncos are on the bye. No one really has any Broncos players at this stage. So I've just got good options, and Eli Katoa's one that, I might not play him.
Very interesting. Love that. Friday, 6 p.m, Seagulls v Wars. For the Seagulls, nothing that really impacts SuperCoach. Cole is on the extended bench. He might come back in. For the Warriors, Adam Pompey, he's in the centres. Montoya on the wing, and Luke Metcalf comes onto the extended bench. Hopefully we see him back over the next few weeks. Anything touch onto that game outside of Paseka potentially being an immortal, Timbo?
You literally took the words out of my mouth.
I loved when he scored that try over the weekend. My immediate thought was Timmy.
And I didn't even play him.
You know what I love most, though? All the idiots in the comments that didn't understand why you were doing it and were like, why would you buy him? And it's like he scored a try and scored well anyway, so fuck you.
Scored tries, scored well, played big minutes, and wait and hear my trades this week.
Yeah, suck it. I love that. All right.
a rare win for the Stars.
Roosters v Eels, Allianz, 8 p.m. Dom Young has been named by all accounts, he is going to play. So keep an eye on that one. The Eels, they are essentially 1-17, nothing major there. Anything to touch on in those games? Timbo, Roosters coming off the bye.
The only one is that, from what I've seen, Ryan Madison's 1,000-1 to play. Like, Christian Nicolucci, one of the journos, put out before team list came out that he was out for 3 to 4 weeks with busted ribs.
Yeah, he's got broken ribs.
And then he got named, and then someone called him out on Twitter and he goes, he won't play. So that's probably the only one worth noting.
Yeah, okay. One to watch there. Cowboys, Raiders. No. Wrong
Dogs,
game.
Fins.
Idiot. Bulldogs, Dolphins, Salter over from Bundaberg at 3 p.m. For the Bulldogs, essentially 1-17. Jamin Salmon, he comes into the side. For the Dolphins, the GOAT is out. Hubner comes in there. Nothing else to really touch on with Dolphins and Bulldogs. Timmy, anything?
No.
Then we've got the Cows v Raiders from North Queensland, 5:30 p.m. for the Cows. Big change. Chad Townsend out. Jakey Clifford comes into the side. Nanai out. Finay Fuiaki in for the Raiders. I don't like this, Tim. I don't know how you feel, but I think you missed Ethan Strange's running game at 5'8". He's at centre. Cook at 6. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't like it this week. Moving forward, I don't mind it. I'm just talking obviously straight rugby league, but I'm just looking at the Raiders in 6 to 8 months' time or even 24 months' time, and I'm looking at Chevy Stewart, who's possibly a long-term fullback. I'm thinking, where does that put Ko Weeks, potentially at 5'8"? I'm looking at young. This is Ethan Sanders coming out from Parramatta, highly touted. With all these really good spine players, I can see, where Ethan Strange is a centre for us long-term. I'm not saying he can't be 5'8", but you've got a lot of really promising future prospects, and but that being said, our season's we can still make finals footy. So I find it a weird time to do it. I thought, let's say we lose this week or next week and our finals prospects are gone, do it. It really surprised me that he's gone early on that.
I also just think Fogarty and Cook, they're too similar. You've always said, though, that you thought Ethan Strange would end up out in the centres.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm not huge on it, but we'll see. Tigers Rabbitohs. That one is from Campbelltown Sports Stadium, 7:35 on Saturday night. La Lily comes back in on the wing. Seafarth on the edge. Ruben Porter. Moment of silence for our boy. Drop to the extended bench. A lot of bad things happen to good people.
Well, it could have happened 2 weeks ago when he played for you and scored a ton. But, mate, again, straight rugby league. He 2 weeks ago was outstanding for the Tigers.
Yep.
The season's dead and buried. He's like 26 or something. Like, he's not a full-blown rookie, but he's a rookie to the NRL. And surely you persist with him for the end of the season, see what he's got, because I didn't watch him through a microscope on the weekend, but I don't think he was any worse than the other Tigers players. And you move Alex Seafarth there, surely he's worth persisting with.
Yep, hard to work out. Can't make sense, but for the Bunnies, Tallis Duncan finally starts on an edge, thank God. Keon also back out to the edge. Interesting.
It's big because last 2 weeks his minutes dropped with the Bunnies season done to 54 and 55 minutes, and he looked like a sell before he plummeted value. Back to the edge where he probably plays his 80 minutes. If they're looking at easing him, he may not. But let's say he does play his 80 minutes back on the edge, a Tigers matchup here. I had him pinned as, I don't know if I own him, but I had him as a sell this week. But I think you now give him one more week, because if he plays his 80 back on the edge for the rest of the season, happy days, especially with this matchup.
Yep, completely agree. And Ty Munro on the extended bench as well, playing New South Wales Cup this week. Sunday afternoon footy, we've got the Dragons and the Titans coming live from Wynn Stadium at 2 p.m. The Fangai boys, they're both in, one replacing Sully there. Birds on the bench with the Couchmans. Worth noting, Kyle Flanagan obviously suspended now, so they've got two options what they do here, and I'm doing this on the fly, so forgive me. They can either play Jack Bird at 5'8", or, Timmy, they've got a young kid on the bench who has been absolutely carving it up in reserve grades, and one of the great names of all time, King Togia, jersey 19 there. Apologies if I've got pronunciation wrong there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in to make his debut at 5'8".
Wow.
So, little spot to watch there. Good little duel too. Fullback 5'8". Interesting.
They don't screw him for cheapie next year for us if he's that
There's
good.
every chance they might, and scooped him up off the waiver wire this morning.
Yeah.
Hello. So yeah, that's the Dragons as it stands right now. Kyle Flanagan, 4 weeks. Fair, unfair?
Yeah, look, when you have a chomp on a bloke's nose, you're going to pay, do the crime, do the time.
Little nibble on Nubby's
Yeah,
nuts.
I think four's all right.
Brimo, he's on the bench for the Titans. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there as far as Keanu Kearney and them. And Brian Kelly was out last week because of illness, comes back into the side. Jeez, the Titans are interesting. Teamless Tuesday is interesting for the Titans, let alone the games on the weekend.
Hasn't it?
Wild.
Like, you'd say it's a welcome headache for Des Hasler, but seriously, the fact that they're all fit for once in their career at the same time, gee, it's hard trying to squeeze those blokes all in together, isn't it?
Very tough. Yep, brutal stuff. Last game of the week's Sharks Knights. That's coming to you from Shark Park, 4:05 p.m. Keep an eye on social media today. Me and Kat have got a giveaway we're doing. We've got 2 double passes to that game. It's going to be a double header with the women's game before, the men's game after, so stay tuned for that. Sharkies are Trindle and Mulatalo on the extended. No other changes outside of that. For the Knights, Lucas returns at centre. Mapapalangi dropped from the side there. Anything else to touch on in that game, Timbo?
Nope.
No.
Oh, yeah, the only one is just Trindle Mulatalo on the extended bench for the Sharkies. With the Sharkies run home, anyone who does still own, particularly Mulatalo, I think, good little boost. Because
if he plays us, that's big.
Could finish with a bang.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, now we've got a special guest coming into the studio, Mortz from Blue Wealth Properties. I'm going to throw it over to Timmy and myself in slightly different positions to talk to Mortz now from Blue Wealth Property. Guys, the link is in the description if you would like to make a discovery call with the team at Blue Wealth, just gaining education on the process and everything. The link is in the description, along with the link to their events over the next few weeks. Going to hand over now to the handsome devil up there on the stage. Oh, boy. And Mortz. Cheers, guys. And we're back. Bit of magic in the studio. Mortz, welcome in, mate, from Blue Wealth Property. Now, you a Doggies fan or what?
A little bit, mate, yeah. And in part of my voice, I've been screaming for the club for the last, riding this wave for the last 12 weeks or so. It's awesome.
Mate, what a 12 weeks it's been. Incredible stuff. And, obviously the fan base, they are just second to none in this league. It's like, to me, I'm not a Canterbury fan, obviously. I don't have any horse in the race, but just as being a rugby league fan, just watching the emotion, everything going on at Canterbury, it's incredible. To be a part of it, it must be special.
Mate, it has been. It's people said the sleeping giant of the NRL. There's been a lot of very patient Doggies fans that have been waiting in the wings for many years for a run like this. And I think if you looked at the season already, it's probably a success, but the team's in a good position to go a lot further. So very exciting, mate. Atmosphere at Belmore and Cogra the last couple of weeks has been pretty good.
Mate, I keep on looking at your side, and my question is always, why not? Why not this year? Like, you got the best defence in the competition. What's finals footy all about?
We know it's written in the stars. You know, I was on the 74-84 thing about 2 years ago. No one will believe me. It's easy to say now, but you get into those semi-finals. It's a different game, and definitely why not?
That should be a little motto on the Dogs Wall for the rest of the season. Just posters everywhere. Why not? Copyright Rugby League Guru.
Yeah, tell me about it. As if I haven't done enough for this goddamn game. Mate, now me and Timmy, we've been pushing all the good word of Blue Wealth Property. I've got a question for you. Who do you think's better at it? Because we both deliver a pretty good rent vesting spiel. In the office, who's the top gong of Blue Wealth Beers and Breakevens?
You both do really well. But I think Kat's probably got yours covered.
For the love of God. Please.
Jeez, I've sacrificed the quality of my Supercoach team to get my Blue Wealth reads across and get them better, and I have nailed it. So that is disrespectful.
Like Gus's 5-year plan, it's a 3-year plan. I think you're a second year into your rent vesting pitch, so you're going well.
My Supercoach side's a 15-year plan at the moment.
I love nothing more than giving Timmy as much stick as I possibly can, but I think he's actually nailed his rent vesting spiel.
He's done very well.
To be completely honest, I think he is the top dog. But whilst we've got you here, mate, can you deliver your absolute best
No,
Red
pressure's
Vesta
on.
to us.
Pressure is on.
Yeah, hopefully Tony doesn't. Well, he will listen to this, of course. And rent vesting, as we were sort of touching on before, is very relevant to a lot of Beers and Break-Even subscribers. So ultimately, you can't get into the market where you want to live. So invest where you can afford and rent where you want to live. So that's a way that many people can get on the property ladder. It's Sydney median house price, $1.4 million at the moment or something like that. So to save up a 10, 15, 20% deposit, it's going to take you years, and in that time, the market will get away from you. So ultimately, it's about getting on the property ladder where you can, holding long-term, rent where you want to live, enjoy your lifestyle. And renting these days is a lot different to, I guess, generations before us where it was, probably looked down upon, where now it's a bit trendy. You got the flexibility of lifestyle. So rent where you want to live and buy where you can afford.
Yeah, you did all right, mate. I think the median house price is 1.3987 at the moment, million. But look, you did your best.
That was like watching Stephen Crichton play right centre. That was art. And mate, Beers and Break-Evens, the people out there, we obviously get an email every time someone signs up and whatnot. I'm a bit sick of getting emails. They just keep flooding in. They're flying.
Mate, it's great. It's been really good. The partnership with Beers and Break-Evens. I think what we found in the office, and we keep commenting on it when there's a discovery call or a meeting with one of the subscribers, is they're thirsty to learn. A lot of people are coming off because we haven't been taught it in school. A relatively low base of property experience and investing knowledge and all of that, and so there's a thirst for knowledge out there. And we're helping a lot of people certainly invest. It's awesome that a few have actually been able to purchase property, which is great, and that's growing. But we're helping a lot of people just understand what their opportunities are. So, and start that journey, start budgeting and saving and, that sort of thing. So it's been awesome. It's a little highlight in the office when we get B&B subscribers calling up or keen to connect. It's been great.
You boys just want to chat SuperCoach with them.
Of course. Right. Yeah. Well, I don't. Although I'm starting to come good, I think. Like, it's way too late in this season, but I love looking at the predictive score, and I'm up over 1,200 now each week, and
then you get
feel
800.
like I know what I'm doing. Oh yeah. Then captain goes down first minute. The HIA, you buggered. So,
How is the team going? Where are you ranked? Where are we sitting?
No. I think I'm in the sort of 80,000, 90,000 sort of region, so nothing to write home about. But I'm in the repechage finals or the second semis, and I've got my first game covered. So
I'll see
is that
you
the beer cup? And mate, we've been pushing the discovery calls over the last few weeks. Just explain to us, for someone that's sitting on the fence, considering making one of those calls, what do they actually look like?
Look, it's basically an opportunity for a personal conversation with our team. Typically Owen in our office, who does most of our sort of education and presentations, alongside Tony, will run the discovery call, and it's a bit of a fact find. We get to know a bit about the person calling up, obviously, that we're calling, and provide them a bit more detail about how we go about identifying property, how we can help them, give them a few tips around what they should be doing, and discuss next steps. So it's not always, in fact, in most cases, it's not come in for a discovery call, then have a meeting, buy a property. It's come in for a discovery call, work out what your situation looks like, and what's the best sort of trajectory for you.
And mate, selfishly, a little bit off topic, but mate, obviously the New South Wales Blues had a famous victory this year, which we all loved and adored. And mate, your dad played a pretty significant role in it, and I thought it was incredible how low-key that was kept throughout the entire series. And we only really found out about it after that this trophy existed and all these things were going on. You sort of got to see it from behind the scenes. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, mate, it was a very very special sort of 6 or 7 weeks of the Origin period. So Madge reached out to the family through my uncles and Frank Panisi early in the piece, basically saying they wanted to get Dad involved in some way. And I think Madge was very big on reconnecting with the players that have played, worn the jersey before. And I know there was a good catch up with a lot of the old Origin boys, well pre-Origin, which unfortunately Dad couldn't be part of with his current health. But so he reached out, want to get Dad's jersey involved, want to get the spirit of '85 and all of that. And Mum and I were like, okay, well, yep, we'll happy to do what we can. But then it sort of just grew. So we got Dad got invited to the True Blues function, the pre-game, function, where the team was presented to, I guess, a few dignitaries and Dad and all our family were there. And they had this video that Rabs narrated that sort of really honed in on 85 and the spirit of 85 and Dad's captaincy in and around that. So it was pretty cool. Then we went down to Melbourne. I managed to get down to go to that game, and Mum was actually in town for work. So separate to that, Madge reached out to us. We want you in the sheds. We've got something to show you after we win. So then post game we're in the sheds. I'm sure you saw on Tony's social media that he got a start there, and one of my colleagues had a great line. It was like watching him collect Pokemon running around the sheds, just loving life. It was awesome. But then Madge pulled Mum and I aside into a little private room in the sheds there and showed us the trophy, which was obviously the image of Dad and Crusher and Peter Wynn and after that victory, and talked us through it. We had a few tears in the eyes and then they went up and did the job up in Suncorp and made history. So and I wasn't there because I was over on a family holiday, but in the lead up to the third game, they had a private dinner at the SCG, went out onto the field and reenacted that. So it was really, from our family point of view, we feel very lucky and blessed to be involved, but it's a good tribute to Dad and what he's done for the jersey. So
if the bookies knew that was going on, even after going down 1-0, the Blues would have been $1. We were never losing that.
Never losing it. No. So you didn't know about the trophy until you saw it?
Got told about it in the lead up to Origin 1.
Yeah.
But you say, okay, that sounds pretty cool. Yep, whatever. Wow. But then once he showed us it, and it's a pretty decent thing. It's not as good as the Stallion Cup, of course.
No, of course not. No.
But it was pretty cool. And I think without going too far into it, I think it's more of a, even though it's public now, it's for the team and their sort of own reflections on what they're going to do for the state each year. So, yeah.
That's amazing, the influence he's still having 40 years later. That is just incredible.
Still carrying us to victory.
Unbelievable stuff. That's fantastic. And, mate, back to Blue Wealth Property. Any events coming up over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, we do. So I know we've been focusing on the discovery calls, which have been awesome, and we'll keep doing that for anyone that's keen to connect. But we've got our How to Pay Off Your Mortgage with an investment property, I think next Tuesday, the 20th. So I'll send all the information through for you guys and for the subscribers. But here's my pitch on how to pay off your mortgage. So ultimately, we've been told, the traditional Australian approach is get a house, rip in, pay it off, make extra repayments, don't do anything until you get that. You've got your house clear, and then you can start thinking about investing or growing your wealth. The reality is a lot of people are actually retiring with debt now. It's getting, because of the size of a mortgage, it's getting harder to pay it off. So an alternative way, and probably more effective way in a lot of cases, is to buy an investment property and let the growth in that investment property help pay off your mortgage a lot quicker. So we take you through that in that event, and then obviously off the back of that can run your personal scenario. So it's a bit of a mind shift for the traditional Australian approach, but it's in a lot of ways much more effective to arrive at financial security and be debt free.
Unreal. Mate, we thank you for coming in once again and for your support for another season, and look forward to what the future holds. Before I let you go, I just want you to finish this sentence for me. In 2024, the Bulldogs will
win the NRL Premiership.
Oh, I fucking love that. Love to hear that. You're a Bulldogs fan. What are you talking about?
I didn't say anything.
Morts, thanks for joining us once again, mate. We always appreciate you coming in, giving us some of your time, and we're going to hold you to ransom for that beer at the end of the year, just quietly.
100%. Looking forward to it.
Let's shout out to you too, Tony. Stop hiding, mate. Come find us.
He'll have FOMO that I'm on and he's not. That's for sure. He'll want to come catch up with you guys soon.
Love that. Cheers, mate. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, shout out to Morts for coming into the studio. One of the all-time greats. Not sure if you noticed, but I got from there to here in record speed. The kid can move.
You can move.
The kid's got wheels. All right, let's move to Tim's Stat Deep Dive. Kat didn't join me this week. What a dog.
Yeah,
what a dog.
Kat.
Sorry.
What
Sweet.
a dog.
I got a text message.
Now, these four, I won't tell you what was said pre-show because Kat was horrified, but these are 4 of my absolute favourite players in the comp, just quietly. If I was picking
I wish people knew what you said.
well, they're not going to know. So TS, if I was to pick 4 dudes from the NRL to join me for a weekend, 3 of these would be an absolute shit in. And one of them I really like, but the other 3 I love. And let's start with the Plathinator, Maxi Plath, one of my favourites. He will play Origin next year. Spoiler alert. Talk to me.
Yeah, so Maxi Plath, I saw he's one of the most traded in players this week, and I thought, look, scores inflated in recent weeks by attacking stats, pretty expensive, toughish run. I'm like, I didn't like it. Then I did a dive into his numbers, and I was like, oh, I get it. So 114 points on the weekend. According to my article, it was against the Dolphins, so well written. 3-round average of 95 points.
Man in the mirror stuff.
Yeah. 3-round average of 95 points. Deep dived into his big minute games. 12 games of 60-plus minutes this season. He's averaging 72.83 points per game. In those games, 54 points in base. Like, I can see why people are bringing him in now, but he's proven to be like an 80-minute man, whether it's at lock, whether it's number 9. You could buy him this season, but even looking ahead to 2025, if he maintains this role, mate, he's got attack in him. He's got massive base in him. Gee, he could be a good start, like just a really long-term Supercoach prospect.
Bloody oath he could be. I'll tell you what, Timmy, he is the single biggest regret of my Supercoach year. And from a draft point of view more so, remember when we were up at fucking Redcliffe when I was talking him up galore. I looked at him that week in draft and thought, maybe I'm overhyping him. Anyway, I find myself here 26 weeks later picking between Tyson Gamble and fucking Kieran Foran this week. I should have had my boy. He's been so good, and I will seriously consider starting with him next year, mate. Like I actually thought playing hooker he might drop a bit of cash heading into next year, but mate, he's done quite the opposite. When I was over there in Perth a few weeks ago, I did some content with him, and the day before the game, I sort of said, what sort of minutes are you looking at? And he said, I probably won't do the 80. I've been pretty crook all week. He came out and scored 95 and played the entire 80 minutes. Like, he is an absolute animal, Max Plath. He's, I hate to say it, but he's just got Queenslander written all over him.
He does. He's a gun. This list that we're about to read out, there are a few daggers in the season of the Stands because I've owned one of them who I lost due to injury, but there's 3 of them that I've been so close to buying so many different times and didn't. But look, no use crying about it. So we move on to number 2.
Number 2 on the list is Zach Lomax, who I owned for a while, sold him about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I think he was one of the huge plays for me this year. Going Lomax. He's pretty lowly owned. When I had him, he was fantastic, and I feel like he might be just starting to come back into some form. What do you reckon?
Yes, well, the reason I think you sold him and plenty did sell him, it was coming off the back of Origin. They had a buy at one point, but then they went into a draw. There was the Roosters well over a month ago, but then it was Bulldogs, Panthers and Storm, and you just look at that and go, winger for the Dragons, can't possibly score well. Those 3 teams rank as the 1st, 2nd and 4th best defences in the NRL. Zach Lomax averaged 70 points across those 3 games.
And you know what? Going into those 3 games, there was the bye as well. If you ever look through his stump, and I don't have the exact numbers on me, but if you go and have a look through the rest of the season, against top 4 teams, he was averaging about 49 or something from memory, and then he's just blown it away against those sides, and he's been incredible. Even he obviously played fullback against the Penrith Panthers, but I mean the way that he roams, he gets opportunities anyway. The next 4 weeks, Titans, Sharkies, Eels, Raiders. Oh boy, it could be delicious.
Yeah. In those 3 games, the Dragons scored 38 points. That's it. And he still averaged 70 Supercoach points in that period. He turned up 108 against the Titans back in round 1. You add in now that Kyle Flanagan and Moses Sully are both out. Now the Dragons are very right edge dominant, so it won't change entirely. But losing now Flanagan and Sully, the right edge, if possible, is just going to get even more of the attacking ball.
Yeah.
He's not coming into my team. Well, he's certainly not this week, but far out. He's a good buy for the run home.
What's he priced at the moment? 6. Oh God,
I know. 661.
Yeah, I'll be seriously looking at a way to get him this week. Very interesting player for the run home. Mate, Kale Ero, you never owned him. I owned him for a long period of time. I sold him for Val Holmes a few weeks ago, and I reckon I've Valheim's had a couple of big scores in that time. I reckon I've just about broken even, but I'm not going to lie, I am nervous as shit about not having this guy for the run home.
I watched all season, Iro, and he was mass owned and he just couldn't drag that attack, and I avoided him because I'm a pelican. And he was just knocking out big base, but wasn't going really over like 50 or 60. And he was averaging around that sort of 50 to 55 mark. And I'm like, all right, I've got away with this somehow because he's not finding any attack. But things have changed. The attacks started to come in the last month and he's really started to hurt me. Like one that I look back on and go, mate, what have you done? Around his numbers, we know he's got a good base, but in 12 of his 17 games this season, he's had a base of 40 plus points. That is remarkable. A low of just 29. He's had one score under 46 this season. That was a 33-point effort. That was against Penrith in round 12 when Penrith wiped him. No one scores well against Penrith. We know that. Just looking ahead to the future, and I mean, certainly the end of this year, I know people are bringing him back in this week after a lot sold. Like, if the Sharks maintain good attacking football in coming years and he can maintain this base, he's a near lock from round one with a base like that. Incredible.
Yeah, it is amazing. I can't believe how it has played out for Edo. And, you know, we've been talking about him for years, that he's got this star potential, and it took so long for him to start scoring tries. But now that he has, I just can't see him stopping.
The only good thing to come out of Iro for me recently was that prior to this show, you said you sold him about a month ago, and I thought you still owned him. I'm like, oh, this is going to kill me on the run home. So that made me happy.
I sold him in round 20, and since then Val's gone 44, 104, 136, 56. Fuck, over the last few weeks, Hero's gone 84, 87, 94. It'll be a tight little... It'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the year. But, yeah, my reason why I sold him is because I already had Jesse Raymond. He was my pod place. I was like, I don't know if I want both.
Yeah.
But looking at that run, might have been a mistake. Wouldn't be the first. Guarantee it won't be the last. All right, Hamiso, which I'm going to be honest with you, Hamiso is the last person that gets an invite to my boys' weekend away with my lads.
But he's still getting an invite.
But he still gets a bait. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Talk to me about Hamiso.
Not a lot on Hamiso. He's still owned by about 11% of top-ranked coaches, which is a reasonable amount. This is more of a condolences to those that brought him in 3 weeks ago. He was a super popular buy. He was on fire. The Dolphins have scored 82 points in the last 3 weeks, which basically coincided with when people brought in the Hammer. In those 3 games, Hammer has just 1 try, 1 line break, and 1 line break assist as his only major attacking stats. SuperCoach average of 45 in those 3 games. That's so unfair. Like, how is he not Jag more?
Yeah, I didn't realise it was that bad.
Yeah.
That's dreadful, eh? Christ, I'll tell you what too, that one try that he scored, that was over in Perth, and he ran past me on the sideline. It's the first time I've watched him up close. God, he is just a pleasure to watch. He just glides. He's an absolute freak.
So...
Yeah, geez, that's grim considering all the points they've scored.
Oh, so unfortunate. So then he goes into games against Dogs, Storm, Broncos, Knights. He's at 598K now, break-even of 109. Obviously, it's a very trade-dependent thing how many you have left, but should owners cut ties with him?
Yeah, Canterbury, Melbourne, from what, like that Melbourne game's at Amy Park, they won't rest players in that. I don't think they'll rest the week after, apparently. So, mate, that's two of the 3 hardest matchups, probably. Very tough. And, mate, even the last game, Newcastle at McDonald Jones, last game of the year, I think I probably would cut ties. What price is he at?
598.
Jeez, if I could move Hamiso to Lomax, I think I would.
Yeah, agreed. I think like if you've got like 2 trades left and you're sitting there, you probably don't need to do it because, yes, it's an upgrade, but you can also do a lot with those last 2 trades and you're playing with fire. But if you've got sort of 3 or 4 trades left, certainly 4 I'd move him on. 3's a question mark, 2 I'd hold.
In saying that, I mean, he gets the game at Suncorp Stadium on a fast track. That probably suits him. Brisbane, fuck knows what we're going to get there. And granted, Newcastle at McDonald Jones, but I assume that'll be a Sunday afternoon.
Not a must sell.
Not a must sell.
But if you've got trades.
Okay, if I was Cat, I would sell. I'd go to Lomax with 7 trades.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have it? You've sold him, haven't you?
Yeah, I sold him.
Yeah. All right. Is that our deep dive done and dusted?
That is.
I enjoyed that, Timbo. That was good gear.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Let's have a look at trades for this week. So I've got 5 left coming into this week. I am probably leaning towards Timbo buying Angus Crichton this week. And I'm keen to get your thoughts on it, mate. After a little bit of a Kai Piers Paul resurgence, I was going to move him. I'm kind of thinking I might go Terrell May to Angus. What do you reckon?
Do you have her as a front row forward, a third?
Yep. So my front row forward would then be AFB, Curran and Finu.
Oh, yeah. Lock and load.
Yeah. The other option is that I could go Ruben Porter, but I think I'd rather go Terrell May just to have a bit more cash to be able to play with. It'd leave me with 420k in the bank and 4 trades, which I...
How much more is Terrell worth than Porter?
About 140k or something.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is, but I think I'd rather have that 140k to maybe be able to move. Like, I'm just having a look at it now. Like, if I wanted to, I could potentially even now go like a Simi Sasagi to Zach Lomax if I wanted to in my CTW. So I could do that by 20k. That's very appealing to me.
So you could get Lomax.
I could get Lomax and Gus this week.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, I don't mind that, which would give me a lot of depth in my CTWs.
And the way
forward
I
and
look
home.
at that, when we're talking about depth, is like, all right, you're losing a good depth player in Terrell May and holding on to Porter, who, as it stands, is enough, but you're losing Sasangi, who's enough, and gaining a gun. So it's like, I think that's a pretty damn good move.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's probably what I'm leaning. I'm definitely going to do the Angus move, and then I am considering going Zach Lomax as well, which will leave me with 3 trades for 3 rounds left, which I'm okay with the depth I've got and whatnot. And even the buys the next few weeks don't really impact me. I'll lose one player each week, so I'm okay. What are you thinking of doing, mate?
Yeah, look, it's time to farewell Sean Lane.
Oh, boy.
After holding him for some reason all season, and he's finally turned a corner, put 95 on the Storm, 50 on the Warriors, 85 on the Panthers. I don't think I played him in any of those games. Thanks, Shawnee. But look, at least he's given me something, and that's a bit of value at 548k. So I can move him on for not 400k, which is nice. Mate, prepare to get excited. Sean Lane to Angus Crichton, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak to Joey Manu.
I'm completely okay with it.
Yeah, no psychopath on the planet could argue those trades.
Didn't Joey Manu himself say, please avoid me?
Joey Manu did have a personal plea on the SC Playbook podcast. The man himself, via video link up, asking me not to bring him in and break him again.
That's great.
It's made me second guess it because I just don't want to hurt the poor bugger again. It was such a nice video.
It's gotten
personal
real
now.
personal.
No,
yeah.
it is. It's personal now. It's not just a few blokes on a screen that you're moving around. So,
Question. Don't know why I put my hand up, but I did. Joey Manu,
his 4 scores in recent weeks.
574k. Zach Lomax,
Yeah,
661k. Can you get to Lomax if you wanted to?
Yeah, mate. So this leaves me 175k in the bank with 2 trades to go. So I can do it.
Why Manu over Lomax?
I think the Roosters are going to sizzle home. They are fresh from the bye. They come up against Parramatta, the Titans, the Raiders, and the Roosters. I think that
Isn't that amazing? Lomax plays the Titans, the Parramatta Eels, the Raiders, and the Sharks.
3 of the 4.
It's almost the same draw.
Yeah.
Why?
So, I mean, Manu will get one better game in that he gets the Bunnies, I think wasn't on that list, and then the Lomax gets the Sharks.
Yeah.
Very viable move. And I thought about it. The Roosters' attack is so good. I think they're going to come home and put 40 and 50-point scores on. I think Manu's going to have a field day with that. I think Lomax is an awesome buy for all the reasons I just said. And look, I haven't put a pen through buying Lomax. I could buy him next week. And I very well may. Joey and I, this hoodoo, if I'm going to take something out of this Supercoach season, it's got to be that the hoodoo is broken and I've made peace with Joey Manu. In one sense, I don't want to break him because it's now become personal, but in another sense, I'm like, now that Joey and I are best mates, I want to mend this before the end of the season and I want him to finish with 4 tons and be like, okay, we're cool.
Who scores more points in the run home, Manu or Lomax?
Well, Manu, that's why I'm buying him.
Want to have a little wager? If we wager on these two, I will buy Lomax this week and I'll go head to head with you over the next few weeks.
I kind of don't want you to buy Lomax though. But yes, I will wager.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the wager?
What is the wager?
Oh, surely it's just got to be dinner and or lunch at the pub next door.
At the Newmarket?
Yeah.
I'm getting whatever I want though.
Oh, righto.
Deal. Okay. If Lomax scores more than Joey Manu, you have to take me for a romantic dinner to the Newmarket Hotel and I will be ordering sides. And it's the same vice versa. Do we have a deal?
Do I have to talk to you?
You know what? Actually, we should. We have got a couple of events coming up. Maybe we could, and we've got an event late in the season, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could work out
Invite there.
something there.
Yeah, all right.
That'll be good fun. Yeah.
Righto.
So we're both locked in. You're buying Manu and I'm going to buy Lomax.
Yeah.
And we're going to go head to head over the next few weeks.
Yeah. And
Okay.
obviously injury voids the bet for when I break Joey.
I think that both players have to play at least 2 out of 4 games.
3.
3 out of 4?
Yeah. Well, if you
Okay,
get-
sure. 3 out of 4. Fuck.
If one player gets 2 extra games, they're not losing.
Okay, 3 out of 4 they have to play. All right. Deal. I love that. This is going to be a good little watch on the way home. Okay, good to see us actually competing in something. Catmandu,
Yeah.
7 trades, 14 boosts. What are you thinking of doing? How much cash you got too?
Oh, I don't have much cash.
Not much, okay.
So I'm going to have to
Trades
do a
are
bit
cash,
of a
though.
reshuffle. Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what I remembered when I made those last minute trades last week, that trades are cash. So I have cash aplenty. I'm very tempted by Gus.
Yep.
So I might look to make a bit of a shift up there. Other than that, I'm not too sure at the moment. I'm honestly not sure because I have Eero, who I've held on to. So I'm happy that I got him. But then in saying that, I can probably look to upgrade somebody. So I don't know. Stand by. As always, I need a few days to digest this information.
There's a bit to take in.
There's a bit to take in. And then if you are part of the Roo crew, you will find out.
Any
my
chance
trades.
of you thinking about your Supercoach trades before the Supercoach show you do each week?
Wow. Do you know what's so funny
Oh,
though?
Timbo.
'Cause I'm not on here as the expert, Timmy. So I'm here to actually take in the information.
Well,
So just like the people that sit and listen to you, I also need to take in this information. So there you go.
Okay, now, whilst we laugh at Kat, I need to admit that I actually don't think I can make those 2 trades, but I really want Zach Lomax now to take you on.
what you just had your budgets.
No, I didn't. I realised that I reversed the first trade, so I didn't actually have enough. So I'm going to have to work that out, but I will find a way to get Lomax into my football team this week because even if I have to sacrifice Gus, I want to take you on.
I like it.
So I'm in, but
Yeah, I like
just
this.
stay tuned how the fuck I'm going to do it because I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. But good times. Okay. So our trades, you and me are sort of sorted. Catmandu, we're going to sort her out a little bit later in the week. Let's talk.
Can you sell, you got Tommy Turbo?
Fuck off.
Can you sell Tommy Turbo via Jules or something and get Lomax?
Tommy Turbo is going to bury you in the back end of the season,
know.
kid. I know. Fucking great. Yeah, okay. So that's where we stand. We'll work that out. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we'll try and sort that. Okay, let's go sit v starts. Timbo, what does yours look like this week, mate?
Yeah, a few decisions to make because it's a fair bit of depth. So my bench as it stands is Ponga, Cleary, Nikora and Marju. Not playing for me, Brayley Paseka, Ellie Katoa, Kai Piss-Paul, Dill Brown, Casey McLean, Jesse Arthurs. So, I mean, my CT dub picks itself, my back row picks itself. I suppose my decisions would come down to Marju v Katoa and Brown. And here's a question for you because Sharks have defended really well. I think they've conceded, 6 points in the last 2 weeks? It might be more than that. Anyway, all their attack went to the right, the Knights last week. I have no idea why, because they've been such a left side dominant team for a long time, and they went away from it last week to good effect, obviously. There was 4 tries for Fletcher Sharp. But Ponga didn't even look to go down the left. It was all just setting up for that right-hand sweep. Was it something that they saw against the Tigers and that edge and they saw opportunity? Is it something we expect to continue? Because in my eyes, I'm like, Margie can go ham on the run home with the draw they've got, give or take this week, but it's concerning.
Yeah, definitely concerning. Cost me a top 4 spot in draft too. Shout out to Greg Mars, who had to score 43 points. Fuck me.
Gee, that must have been a tough watch.
It was.
I just wouldn't do it.
Certainly was. It was brutal.
Why
Absolutely
do you think?
brutal. I honestly have no idea. Maybe it was something they picked out in the Tigers. I'm not too sure, but are they going to do it next week again? I don't know. I mean, like, at the same time, like, we constantly build this narrative about the Knights left edge. Like, the top try scorer in the NRL last year was the Newcastle right winger. Like, I don't know. I constantly build up this left side idea in my head. I had Bradman Best and Marshall at one point this year. Maybe it was just game dependent.
Like, the Knights still scored 43% of their tries down their left last year and 35 down their right. So Dom Young was mental, but the left edge was still doing all the damage.
Yeah, fair. Mate, I honestly don't. I did not expect that at all on the left, especially when Dylan Lucas got ruled out. They had a genuine centre on the left. I could understand the few weeks before when Greg wasn't getting much ball because they had a second rower there, but once they got a genuine centre there, I thought they were going to absolutely fly down that wing. I was confident as all hell. So I really don't know, mate. No. I don't know.
Like, the difference could be on the run home, if they go back to like just normal where both edges get a balance of the attacking ball, with that draw, Margie could average 100 on the run home. If they stick to just hammering the right edge, he could average 40. Yeah,
it's tough. And that's where, mate, I'm even looking now going, okay, geez, do I trade? Like, do I look at maybe moving Margie to Lomax? The other one I'm going to throw at you, which I'm sorry to go back to my trades, but I'm just looking at it. The other one I could do is go Casey McLean to Lomax.
Obviously that's one of the great upgrades. I look at McLean, gets through Melbourne this week where you wouldn't play him in this matchup.
Yep.
He does go up against the right edge, which has been poor defensively, but I wouldn't do it. After that, he goes the Raiders in Canberra, South Sydney in Penrith, Titans in Penrith. Even in a stat squad, I think I'm playing him all 3 of those weeks. And the awkward thing about McLean is he's 380k. If you go down, people are selling him this week off the back of one bad score. If you move him down to free up cash, if you nuff him, it's 180k. It's handy, but it's not a lot. And it's also a lot of money to go up to a gun. So, it's a good draw.
Yeah, I know, mate, but I'm looking at him going, okay, I love the kid. I think he's going to be a superstar. But I look at his scores over the last few weeks, and I mean, 41, 52, which are good, solid scores. He scored a try in round 21 against the Dragons. He scored 54. He scored a try against the Newcastle Knights, 76. If he scores a try every game on that run home, I reckon Lomax still outscores him.
Oh, absolutely. No, my point is the price though, at 380k.
Yeah.
Work through your trade options and have a look at if you use 300k on McLean to Lomax, who's that going to cost you on the run home? Because if you can trade someone else to him and hold McLean, I just think he's such a good, he might be a 7th CT dub for the run home.
Okay, let me put it to you this way, mate. Instead of going Simi Sasagi to him, if I was to go McLean to Lomax, I'm going to do it now, but I think that would get me enough cash to be able to get Angus Crichton this week as well.
Yeah.
Then you think worthwhile?
It's not bad by any means.
Yeah. But in that situation, you think that's worthwhile?
Yeah, I mean, you're bringing in Crichton and Lomax.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just even looking at, and look, hopefully for the general Supercoach to say there's not a lot of injuries and there's not a lot of restings and everyone is fine and they're not short of numbers, to have McLean for those last 3 rounds rather than Sasangi, who's either playing off the bench or not playing at all, that's such a big swing. But, mate, things might be okay.
It's in. The kid sneaks in by 27k. Love that. Okay. Who else, mate? Are you looking as far as sit v starts this week?
No, that's basically it. Like I'm playing Nicaragua, Kwatu, Fafita, Crichton, etc. I'm not playing like Paseka in my front row. So, yeah, my decision will come down to Marju, v Brown, v Katoa for my final bench spot. At this stage, I'm leaning towards Marju. Yeah, I mean, flip a coin between them, really. Do you have any strong thoughts on any of those three? Who you'd go with?
I'm going to sit Marju this week. I've probably got to choose one of Cody Walker or Jaden Campbell this week. Jaden Campbell against the Dragons, Cody Walker against the Tigers. Cody?
Play.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
It's so hard because they both got such upside in those matchups.
I personally think Cody has to be the one there. But
To play?
yeah, I think so. I'm feeling Cody over Jaden Campbell. Campbell's been a little bit.
I'd play Cody. I might have had a similar question last night on Playbook, and I may have said Jaden. Just the Tigers, they're just so poor defensively. I'd probably lean towards Cody.
Yeah, so at the moment, I think my reserves this week would be Turbo, Lomax, Daly Cherry Evans, and then probably like a Britton Nickera because I'd start Angus Crichton.
Very nice.
So I'm pretty happy with how that is. It means that I wouldn't be playing Fainu, Wade Egan, Kai Piss-Paul, Jaden Campbell, Greg Marcia.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with where that's sitting. As far as I've just got my eyes, mate, on that round 27, looking at my side and whatnot. Obviously, the Warriors have the bye. I've got Egan, Adam Fanua, Blake. Hooker, are we just set and forget now? We just leave what we've got, do you think? Do you think it's worth trading to anyone?
I've got Robson and Brayley, who I've had for a very long time.
Yeah.
Robson has a bye next week. I just need Brayley. I mean, granted, I think he played 80 on the weekend for 28 points. Had a decision to play him or Kai Piss-Paul. And I was umming and ahhing. I'm like, hopefully Brayley against the Tigers can just jag a soft little try assist. He did not. Scored 28. Thanks, mate. And Piss-Paul came out and had a base of 59, which is his best all season. It's like, cool. But yeah, I need Brayley just to hang on to his... So many minutes did he play last week? I just need him to hang on to that big minute role for one more week to cover Robson next week. But
Yeah.
I have no intention of making any trades at hooker.
He plays South next week. It's not a bad little matchup for him when
For
you've got
sure.
Robson out.
Yeah. And look, they put it to Penrith. They beat the Tigers pretty convincingly. They put up a decent showing against the Sharks. I just need to hold that big minute role for one more week.
Tell you what, it's going to be a very interesting talking point next year, mate, because, I mean, I don't know about you, but my feeling going into this season was Hooker is very irrelevant outside of Harry Grant. Even he hasn't been
It's been irrelevant.
great this year. So, really interesting talking point.
Durability. Durability and availability.
Yes. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to run with Appy and Egan for the run home. Anything else as far as sit v starts, mate? No, sorted there. Any questions for you, Kat? Any ones that you're pondering over?
I was obviously going through mine while I was listening to you guys as well. Because I'm pretty happy with most of my reserves. But I did do a bit of a rogue decision the other day when I bought in Connor Tracy, and I don't know where I stand on him for the remainder of the season.
I hate it when you do
rogue.
that. When you go on pod play and then 2 weeks later you're like, am I going to play this guy
Yeah,
or
'cause
not? I do it with Jesse Raymond all the time. Then I'm like, I've got to play him. I can't leave him out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the only one that has him.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So just for reference, I've got Teddy and Turbo, so I'm happy with my fullback situation. And then I've got Garrick. I got Val Holmes last week. I've got RTS. I've got Casey McLean, who has obviously didn't score as well this most recent game, but he's done decently in his time with me. But he may be someone that I shuffle elsewhere. But I've got Xavier Savage, who I've for some reason had this entire season
Still have
with
Savage.
Sean Lane as well. But I've got Iro, Connor Tracy, I've got Dill Brown. This is just my bench. I've got Cody as well. So I've got a few to play with, but I think Casey McLean and Connor Tracy, I'm wondering if those spots could be with someone else, maybe of a Lomax variety.
I'll tell you what, hearing Kat's team, isn't Teddy and Turbo terrifying this weekend? Having both of
they're
them.
the ones you want. We had a great discussion on Playbook last night about that fullbacks and who you want for the run home, and it's just Turbo for the next couple of weeks. Like Ponga's got there's basically one tough matchup in those three teams, those three players on the run home, and it's the Knights against the Sharks this week. After that, it's like Turbo terrifies me the next 2 weeks. I think Manly have. So Pong of the last 2 rounds in Newcastle has the Titans and Dolphins, and he has the Bunnies next week. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
But just each week watching them, so Manly finished with Dogs and Sharks. So it's like, but Manly next week have the Tigers. It's
they're going to score so well.
Any combination of those three, you're just humming with.
It'll be very interesting in hindsight to see what was the right rein to pull there.
So true.
Very interesting.
So true.
Let's get to captains. Mate, for me, I have Tommy Turbo taking on the Warriors at Brookvale on Friday night. It's an early captain, but I think that's going to be the play for me, mate. If I was not in the Simi Sasangi business, I would consider VCing him because I'm pretty happy with the rest of my squad. But with old mate, they're stinking it up and missing tackles left, right and centre and destined for a 7 this weekend. I think I'd probably have to just captain Turbo, which probably means a VC on Nath on Thursday night for me. What are you thinking, mate?
Yeah, I don't have... Like my VC barring injury probably ends up with a 35 to 40 odd, which is manageable. VC Daly Cherry Evans in that game, if they do put a score on. Into a C on James Tedesco, which it's funny. You as a non-owner, that excites me so much against the Eels, but you also have a C on Turbo against the Warriors. So, mate, that's going to be the end of the season.
Question. You're going VC Cherry, I assume just because he's a bit of a pod play, Ruben Garrick doesn't jump off the page to you as a goal kicker?
Potentially. I mean, if they put a score on, I could go Ches or Garrick.
Yeah.
Either or.
Much of a mush? Okay. I feel like, mate, this weekend might decide it could. I think if Turbo does better than Teddy this weekend, I think that puts a red Sharpie through our competition this year.
Please.
You don't think so?
No. The thing about...
that was the least convincing
confident no I've ever heard.
No, I was just thinking through it. Like, there are a fair few differentials in our team, which is exciting for the run home. Like, we're not... There's obviously a reasonable amount of line, but we've got a lot of differences. We've got a lot of differences in key players, in gun teams, with soft runs home. So, mate, things can change very quickly. And I just look at you not having Teddy for the run home, for example, and I look at Thomas Weaver's hamstrings and the fact that we'll probably captain those two a lot of the run home. Things can change quickly.
How dare you? How dare you bring up his hamstrings? That's fucked.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's going to be good. Catmandu, captaincies. Geez, you've got the pick of the bunch.
Yeah, I've got some really nice options this week. I'm very tempted by Turbo as well. I mean, you guys know heading into this season how I've felt about Turbo. I love him. It's nice to see him kind of back in, just in it and playing well. So I don't know if it's time to capitalize on that or at least attempt to. But in saying that, I've obviously got the obvious Cleary choice as well. And I also don't know who I'm bringing in yet. So there might be someone a bit worthy of the captaincy.
It has to be Teddy or Turbo, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think it has to be one of those two. You're lucky.
I'm leaning
both.
more to Turbo.
I'm almost glad I don't have both because I don't have to make that decision because that would keep me awake at night.
Yeah.
You're leaning towards Turbo?
I'm leaning towards, but I naturally lean towards Turbo.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Turbo.
I feel Turbo as well, but I'm obviously biased because I own him.
Yeah.
I just feel so much of Manly's attack comes off Trbojevic, whereas the Roosters just have a tackle all over the place.
Yeah.
They could put 50 points on and Teddy somehow manages to miss him. If Manly put 40 to 50 on the Warriors, Turbo's on 150.
Yeah, it can't miss him.
Yeah.
All right, interesting times. It is going to be an enormous weekend. Is that us done and dusted?
It is.
Fantastic stuff. Shout out to Morts for coming in to join us this morning. Absolute legend, guys. All the links for Blue Wealth Property, they are in the description. Blue Wealth Property, good God. SuperCoach Playbook last night. Joey Manu dropped in. What else did you touch on?
Yeah, Joey Manu dropped in for an appearance on the show, which is very, very generous of him. And what else did we talk about? We actually had a look for who is going to be this year's Tolotau Cola for the run home.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's via positional changes where people get an opportunity, players with matchups. We had our nominations for who will be this year's Tolotau. And Maxi Bryden, he had a really good deep dive into how players go with players. So like Jerome Hughes with Cam Munster, Brian To'o on the right edge with Nathan Cleary, all these sorts of things. So some fascinating stuff there, and a big chat around those fullbacks, and particularly for head-to-head finals, who people want for that and who are sells. It's a very different view. So yeah.
Who was your Tolu Kola for the back end of the season?
I had basically, if you can lock in any Roosters, I think Sammy Walker is a huge play for the run home with that draw.
Walker.
I don't think you could trade anyone to him at the moment, but Dylan Edwards with their run home after the Storm this week goes Raiders, Rabbitohs, Titans. If Teddy or Ponga or Turbo, whoever goes down, Dylan Edwards could goal kick in one of those games with if Cleary has a rest. Edwards could have a massive finish of the year as well.
Interesting. Very interesting. Guys, Monday night, rugbyleagueguru.com.au, 8 p.m. We've got these 2024 Guru jumpers. They'll be going for sale. You'll see it on social media and whatnot. That'll be on sale Monday night. So be there or be square. Why do they say be square, Kat?
Because you're not around it.
Not around. So very good. All right. We will see you later tonight on the Beers and Breakevens Late Show. Thank you for joining us once again.